Welcome back. We're moved inside at the, I can't even see the sign. We're inside the Laurin's. Anyway, give us the name of the business, quick. Clinton Farm Supply. There we are. I was, excuse me there. We're inside, and it's Dick Laurin.
Dick Laurin, yeah.
And
Betty
Laurin. We're here because we want to see them, but the biggest reason for being here today is we want to show the continuation of the L. Wells Garage. And this is one of, as Calvin mentioned, that was there after Wells closed their service station garage. And who's going to be the first? Come up a little closer here, Betty. Oh, you don't want to? All right. Tell us how, well, first of all, we know you're a native of Chazy, down at Chazy Landing. All right. And you went to school where after you graduated from Chazy?
I went to Canton Tech and graduated there in 55, right? Yeah.
And that's how you got into the machinery?
Then I started at Harris, worked at Harris, and then in 1968 we started with Massey Ferguson.
Okay, that's when you decided to go in business and make a lot of money, because this lady was spending more than you were making at Harris. Is that right?
No, she wasn't.
What year did you said that was again?
68.
68, okay. That's 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and during this time, you were from where originally?
Morse.
Morse, all right. And your maiden name?
Giroux.
Giroux. Okay, then you didn't go to Canton too. That's not where you met this man.
No.
How did Chazy and Morse get together?
Well, I didn't think you were going to ask this.
Well, just at a dance or at school?
No, we had our camp where Larry Paukett's camp is now, and his parents rented the lot next door, and I met him that way.
That's the way to go.
I'd known him for a long time, but I knew his other brothers more than I knew him.
Oh, well, that's how you met him. You really get to know him after you marry him. That's when you get to know them better.
Right,
you really, all right. When you get out of school, did you go on to school anywhere?
No, I went out to Rochester and worked at Kodak for a year. Lived with my sister and worked out there.
Office work, like you're doing here. So that you tied in real good here. He does the wrenches and the things, and you keep track of the...
I've done the wrenches too.
You have done that too?
For a long time over at the other place.
Okay. When you decided, did you decide, first of all, did someone say, we'd like to have you take over Massey Harris, or did you decide you want to get into a farm business, and then you found Massey Harris? How does that work?
Well, I answered an ad in the newspaper. That's how it all started. And I'd been thinking about it before, but that's how it finally got started.
Okay. Now, once you decide you're going to get into it, you got to find a location.
Yeah.
And then that's how you ended up at L. Wells Garage?
Yeah.
And rented there?
We rented there, yeah. We were there, I don't know how many years, but
10 years.
10 years.
You were there 10 years? Well, see, I'm not in the farm business, so at that time, so I didn't get into... I saw you there, but as everybody else, you go by and you just don't realize they're there sometimes. It's too bad, but same with bars and grills. I don't visit a lot of bars and grills either. I don't drink at all. So, and I didn't do any farm machinery stuff. All right. There came a time then, while you were there, just the two of you, you've been operating mostly the two of you right along?
No, we were three there, 3 and 4. You know.
Now, you hired people, or was that people in the family? Or?
No, we hired people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, you had the tractors, the full line?
Full line of machinery at that time, yeah.
Uh-huh. Went well? You didn't have big buildings there like you had here?
Didn't have big buildings, didn't have the insurances and the taxes that we got here. Actually, it was a better place to make money.
It was. Well, you didn't have the expenses. That's the biggest deal, right?
Yeah, and expenses have really risen since then.
Tell us about it, huh? So as the expenses of buying a tractor or anything else. You know? Today, you used to buy, today you pay more for a tractor than you do for farms.
Yeah, back then, a 100-horse tractor was around $7,000. Today you're looking at around $70,000.
Yeah, it's happened like that in many other things, including cars, right? Yeah. All right, when you were there, how big was the building? Was it there's 3 sections that we looked at it this morning.
It's not that last section.
The middle section only, or the one on the right too was there?
The whole right part where you've got your bay going south, and then the front door, and then there was another bay over where it's closed off now. That little building that's to the north, that was not there when we were there.
And you had a small office there,
it was
obviously?
Just, 10 by 10.
Yeah. And you had to have the parts, too, even then. That's a big part of the business is parts, right? Yeah. You got to get parts. You don't want to be broke down too long. Where's the next nearest Massey Ferguson?
There's one in Vermont, about 35 miles. And then west of us, you got to go almost to, you got to go to Governor.
Oh, my, yeah. So you do trade parts, so for instance, if you don't have it, you would go somewhere else?
It depends how much of a hurry they're in for it. But basically, we can get the parts in 2.5 days here.
Okay.
And next day air, if it's a real emergency.
So were you renting from the Wells? Did the Wells
Yes.
own the property all that time?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you ever think of buying it at all? Did you ever make an attempt? I'm not getting into too personal there, but did you ever think of buying there? There's a lot of land.
I don't remember if we tried to buy it or if it was too small for us.
It was really too small.
It was too small.
Getting too small because we couldn't.
Okay. Did you own this land here at the time, or did you buy that? You own the land here already?
Yeah.
Had you bought that quite a bit of time?
Quite a few years ago.
Oh, you had?
72, I think.
So you planned on coming here eventually,
Eventually,
so to
yeah.
speak. At least that was a plan, which could always be changed.
Yeah.
Okay. And, well, let me think here. I'd like to tie in down there. So then you moved here in what year? You said about 10 years, so 78? 78 years?
77, 78.
Did you operate in two places at all while?
No.
Never did. So you just left your lease there. Your lease was up and you came down in here.
We moved everything in one day.
Okay. In one day. Well, you were only, what, 1 mile?
Just about.
That was
Just
it.
about a mile.
That was an easy move.
Yeah.
You get into this much machinery. All right. Well, tell us, these people out here, those who don't know, and just what do you do now? You have, you still have the Massey Ferguson
Yeah.
complete line.
We have their complete line. We handle some short lines, and we do.
What's a short line?
Well, it's not a major manufacturer. It's like.
But not a Massey Ferguson, you mean?
No.
Oh, other line. I beg your pardon. Okay. Certain parts, you maybe hay wagon, something like that. Or is that
Yeah,
only Massey?
right.
Okay.
Snow blowers and rotary cutters and blades and stuff like
It's
that.
all farm thing we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, you have a complete lawn and garden.
Right. White outdoor plus the Massey line.
Anybody who watches Hometown Cable know that. They see his ad here. They see him keep going around that tree. They got the nicest grass around that run tree that keeps going around, and he does that. And then when he comes up, I think it's his. This the ad I think that has the hail Calvin where he splits the screen. I think so. Hey, they see you. They get enough of you that night. They get you on twice on there.
Yeah, I'd say our parts department now is bigger than that whole building over there now.
And that's the name of the game, isn't it, today? Huh? So if you are you selling much new stuff today, like tractors? I mean,
Not like we'd like to.
well, I guess we'd all like to do more and things like that. Betty, of course, the last 3-4 years have been tough for farmers. All right, obviously, huh?
Very much so.
And they're repairing more than before. And do you have a complete repair?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do most of the repair, Dick?
Yeah.
What can you do? What can't you do here? Do you break down complete tractors and rebuild?
There isn't anything I can't do, I'd say.
Is that right?
Yeah. Go right from the front bumper to the drawbar.
Now, during the winter, is that when you do work on tractors like that? Or what?
Usually your big major jobs are in the wintertime, and they know they're not going to need it unless it's a real breakdown in the summer where, the tractor breaks down. It's got to be fixed right off to continue work.
Okay. When you, now, let's think back in general. You grew up in this area, and so did you just a little ways. Have you noticed a big change in Route 9 from Champlain to Chazy over the years?
There's been changes.
You realize how many businesses that have been along there that are you're one of the few that have moved and still in existence. Well, also Tasty Free. Tasty Free's moved over to the restaurant, and they're still in business, but they have, they were there. Now Diso is here. I guess there was nothing there before. But as you go up and down the motel, that's gone.
There was a restaurant there.
The restaurant that was there. Yeah.
I think the only thing that's still here that was here when we were here, or over there, is Barkham's TV.
That's right, and he's been there for over 25, I think.
Yeah, he started a couple of years before we did.
But the rest of it's all closed up all the way down, right? You got the drive-in. I guess it's half operating now. I guess it's still operating. I get last year.
No.
It closed.
It closed. Yeah.
It did close, and then of course the new grocery there that is operating, and all the way down there, right to Chazy Woods. That's it. Of course, it isn't travel the way it was before.
But there's still quite a bit of traffic on this road. There's still a lot of people that like to go this way if they're in a hurry. No, they take the north way.
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot of people that don't think they'll stop in here, and they don't think they can get from here to Plattsburgh on Route 9.
You mean these are strangers?
Yeah.
Well, see, they don't push it. True, true. I think we're all getting used to this outside. You don't get on the road and just go and not see anything. We'll be right back. We're at the Clinton Farm Supply on Route 9, and the Route 9 goes all the way from Montreal straight to Plattsburgh, New York City, as a matter of fact. And it was at one time, as the ad said, when we were talking before, the little sales slip. The super highway was called. The Route 9 was the super highway before we had the super highway. You see this business here. We're glad that Dick's got business as we're here, but this man heard we were here, and he knew his wife had been on TV, so he came right over here today. And this man right here, that's advertising Diesel on the front on his hat, and here Birdos on the front of his jacket, is no more other than
Joseph Ledoux.
Joseph Ledoux. That's the husband of that you just saw a few minutes ago in his picture of, yes, Betty Wells Ledoux. Yeah, that's Joseph. And as I mentioned, if you want to see him, you had to go to the bingo at St. Mary's, but here he is at Clinton Farm Supply. That's what it is. So when I mentioned bingo, you know one thing. He is Catholic. Yes, he is, because bingo and Catholics go together. All right? What do you think about your wife being on Hometown Cable?
The first time I heard anything about it.
You didn't know she was going to be on?
No, sir.
Well, take your hat off so we can see, because we won't be able to tell you.
My hair's all busted.
Oh, that's all right. You see, it was bust up the day you were in the picture, too. The wind was blowing.
Busted that.
You saw him sitting with his wife on the that small fence between the house and the garage back in the middle 50s, and operating a big farm on Leggett Road.
Yes. Between me and the bank.
You and the bank?
Yeah,
How many cows do you have, Joe?
300.
300. How many milking?
300.
300 milking?
Yeah, 300 milking cows.
How many people working on the farm?
2 sons, myself, and a hard man.
And everything all operating out after the fire? You got everything working good?
Yep.
Now, we mentioned that fires are disastrous, but you're probably a lot easier now to work than it was before?
No.
No, it isn't, because you had the relatively new milking problem before?
The whole system was only 2 years old, and I had a system to raise calf, raise heifers, and dry cows, and right now, the only thing I do have is a milking barn.
Okay, well now,
If the bank would let me have another $500,000, I could get something right up.
$500,000?
$500,000. Yeah, just about $500,000. Give or take a couple thousand.
Well, I didn't realize you'd been there nearly 25 years either,
Yes.
on that one farm. I didn't realize that. Did you know, Joe, where did you come from, Joe?
I was born in Canada.
In Canada, okay. So he's been a customer of yours for a number of years then.
Basically ever since you started it.
Yeah.
Now, if he got that $500,000, he'd even be a better customer, right? He'd need more things, maybe.
He's a good customer.
He's a good customer. And you know what? He sure gets finished early at night, or else he leaves them working, because he's down at the bingo at 6:45, on Monday nights, and nearly every Monday night, eh, Joe?
Just about.
You enjoy that.
Yes, I love it.
And he says 50. 50, right? That's what you say. Every time you get 50. 50. Right, there it is right there. We go down and work and we see Joe down there. Let them carry on, because he's going to give him some money here. Then we'll see a bigger smile on Dick's face even. So we're going. Did you ever do business with him when he was at the other building?
Oh, yes.
You did?
Oh, yeah. I bought a tractor from you in 68 and then 73, I believe.
Yeah, when we
705.
started, yeah.
How big a tractor?
One of them was a 85 horse, and the other one 105, I
You
believe.
remember what they cost then?
A lot less than they do today.
Yeah, but you have more money now than you did then.
No, we had more money then.
You
than
had
we have
more
now.
money then?
Oh, definitely. What, 1085 cost what? 10, 12,000?
About that then, yeah.
Yeah. And I traded it and 70. I knew it was a 73 or 74 for a bigger one. I believe I gave you $7,000 to move. Yeah, somewhere around there. You were very easy to trade with them days.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, let's hear about that. He's a good businessman, huh? Listen, you've got to say one thing. You know that the Laurins were honest,
Oh, yeah.
hard-working people in this area. They've
right.
been. How long has your family been in this area, Dick? Along that
Geez, there's over 60 years. I'd
60
say.
years, huh? Yeah. A big family and hard-working families. Can we say the same for the Ledoux, too?
I suppose.
Yes, you can. Are you relation to any of the Ledoux in Plattsburgh or Shazy, none of those? No?
The only Ledoux that my family that lives in the state. Yeah.
You're the,
I do
you're
have
the
some
one.
relatives in Massachusetts, but not in New York.
What brought you here except for Betty?
No, that was way before Betty. It was a dream that I always had to come in the state.
And it's been good?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay. Good enough. Thank you for talking with us. Now you can tell Betty you were on nearly as long as she was, because Hubert did all the talking.
As soon as I get out of the doghouse, I'll tell her.
You've only been married for, let's see, you said 55...
That's in 1954, June of 54.
Oh, so that's 39 years?
Yes, that's 39 years.
That's not enough time. You'll have to be over 45 before you get out of the doghouse. That's when you understand each other. Thank you very much, Joe. We talked with Betty. Now we had a chance to talk with husband and wife. They're great. We'll be right back. We're at the Clinton Farm Supply. Wasn't that a surprise interview?
That's all right.
All right, we've been here at the Clinton Farm Supply for the last few minutes, and we kind of caught up this business that started at the L. Wells Garage, and we've talked a little bit here. Anything else, Richard? What do you see for the next year with farming, the next year and a half?
Farming? I'd like to see it improve, but from what I see, I don't think so. You know, they say the economy is coming out of the recession. I don't see it in this area.
You haven't seen it come out?
No.
Of course, the farms have dropped in number, and they're getting bigger all the time. They keep incorporating a smaller farm.
Yeah, they buy out their neighbors, yeah.
You mentioned your brother now has two instead of one. It joined into all at one place now. You know,
I think he's combined 5 farms into 2. So, you know.
So that's where you might have needed 10 tractors or 5 tractors. Now he had maybe 4 or 3, you know?
Yeah, because usually what happens, it puts the old equipment on the market, and what he has, he can still continue with what he's got with it, really not expanding anymore.
Uh-huh. Of course, these two people have not spent all their time at the Clinton Farm Supply or down in the lake either, because they were both very instrumental in opening up the senior housing in Champlain. You've been there since the inception?
Yeah.
And you, likewise,
Yeah.
you were the first president?
No, the second
Second,
president.
okay. First president was?
Dick Collins.
All right, and then after he stepped down or whatever, you became president for some time, and you are still the manager there?
Yeah.
That's the right term?
Yeah.
Manager? This came up, I was forgetting this, I didn't forget it, but I wasn't thinking today, and Calvin asked if you were involved at all with any of the buildings of the other citizens groups.
Not in the buildings, but we've talked, different ones we've talked together, and back in 1989 there was a group of people that managed different complexes, and we get together twice a year with Nancy Maynard from Office of the Aging and people from JCEO just to go over a lot of the new Social Security, the Medicare, food stamp, all the different rules and regs that come down that would apply to all of us. And we started out with lunch at Carver's, and then we go over for a couple of hour meeting and make a day of it.
Everything working out at the senior housing here, the way you had planned, everything working out, the bills up to date and all of that, everything working good?
Oh, yes.
And they're in good shape? You're keeping them in good shape?
Yeah, we just had to do a 5-year plan to predict what we would like to do over the next 5 years. And we had to send that up to Farmers Home, and then they will...
You're talking about repairs rather than expansion?
No, it would not be expansion. It would be major things that we would do down there, like the roofs, and we want to redo all the blacktop.
Right.
This is over a 5-year period.
Are you still on the board, Dick?
Yeah, still president.
Okay, you're still president. Okay, so you get down there and help a hand once in a while? Are you
Quite
known
often.
to use the rates quite often?
Quite often.
Well, the rates are very good. God, you can get those rates today. You know, it's people like this that when you're out there, you 24 people who are there, you may not always, you thank them at the time, but you see Dick or Betty outside. You don't have to be when they're there. Just thank them for all the time. And Calvin put in a lot of time in the beginning when he was on that board too. You know, it takes a lot of time. And I was one of those that, as I've said before, never believed it would happen in Champlain, but it has. And you were one of the first ones in the county, second, third or so in the county?
First in the county.
First in the county. Oh, yes. And so you didn't have many people to go talk to in this county to see what it would be?
No, on one of my trips to Syracuse, the man that I was talking with, he couldn't understand why there was nothing in Clinton County. He says, we have always allocated money, but he says, you people never used it. So he says, we pass it on to somebody else. And he was very helpful in that, and I think that because of him is why we got it.
Remember his name? All right, well, I'll give you to catch you off guard, but if you did...
Peter Laurin.
All right, you might as well say his name while we're talking. Okay, Peter Laurin?
Laurin.
He was a great... Laurin.
Yeah.
L-O-R-R-E. Great movie star years ago.
No,
Peter.
L-O-R-E-Y.
Oh, okay, Long Laurin. All right, Betty, anything you could tell us about this plan? Anything that you are just keeping things up? Or,
Well, like I say, we have a reserve fund, and they have to make sure that that is going to be at adequate levels. And there's talk in 95, 96 of HUD giving us less monies than what they're giving us now. They're going to cut us back. So they want us to make sure that if we need roofs, we get those done. If we need blacktopping, get that done. We're thinking of putting porches on, which were in the original plans, but because all the bids came in way up high, there were no monies to do it. So
What kind of a porch do you mean? What do you mean by a porch?
we're going to put,
Cover?
yeah, an enclosed
Oh,
porch.
enclosed. That'd be great because you
With-
go right.
Yeah, with the gable roof and with a sliding window on each side so they get the cross ventilation.
Uh-huh.
And then we would,
Yeah, that'd
it should keep the houses a little bit warmer in the
Yes, it
common
would.
areas.
Yeah, yeah. No trouble keeping them filled. You've never had a problem here, have you?
No problem, no. There's always somebody in line.
Yeah, it's too bad because when the people leave there, they aren't moving to another location very often.
Not too
It's,
often.
you know, they're seeing you when you come, and that's one of the sad parts about a
That
senior
is the
housing.
saddest.
That's the saddest part. They're either going to a nursing home or they've already passed away. That's one of the sad parts. And there've been a few people there, but what a great place for the people in our area so they can just kind of free what they can do and come and go as they please.
Yeah.
We thank you for that as a citizen, you too, Betty, and particularly personally because my mother was there for 8 or 9 years,
Yeah,
8 years.
Calvin was involved in that.
Yes, I know way back. His name's on the post there when we went there one day, and his name is there. He worked very hard too.
And most of us did a lot of traveling, to Syracuse and Albany, and our expenses weren't paid.
They weren't paid then. Well, those were all blessings you'll get later when you go to your reward, Dick. Of course, a lot of us don't get paid for a lot of things. I see my wife today. She's been in 3 different places volunteering her time, and someone I see Judy down at the church, on Monday nights with selling the hot dogs, and there's a lot of people donating their time. But we certainly appreciate all the time you put in on that, and you also. And in addition to that, for talking to us today and helping us rebuilding what was Route 9, and in your case still is Route 9 business here. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas, Dick.
Same to you, Bob.
Okay. And Betty, the same way, same to
Same
you,
to you,
and
Bob.
thank you for talking to us. And anything else you want to add before we close?
Not really.
Quicker we get out of here, the better.
No. On senior housings, I
Yes.
really would like to see one in every town in the county. And then that way the people in that town can stay right there. I think Altona, that was great.
It's great.
And Shazy, I'm hoping that they can get theirs off the ground and get going.
Yep. We were talking when we were at that, not the groundbreaking, but the opening of there, Hometown Cable was there, and Sam Trombley, who is the legislator from that area, he said that he now is proud to say that every township of which he represents, each of the towns, have a senior housing. He thinks he's the only one in the county that has that. Every one of his has one, and he's worked very hard for it. And Sam does a lot of volunteering, he does a lot of work, and he's been on. If you're watching this tonight, Sam, hi out there from Hometown Cable, and thanks again for the great tour of that, I think, a very picturesque and very, shall we say, more than what's necessary to operate that campsite you have there. Very, very. You ever been up to his campsite?
Never been by it.
You saw the
but
show?
We watched the show
Did you?
and we're very.
You know what someone told me? They said that was the one time, Sam, that Bob didn't talk more than the guests. They said that I didn't have a chance to get a word in edgewise. But I'll say this, every word you said was very important, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, because we enjoyed having you on, and we enjoyed having you on. Thank you very much from Hometown Cable, Old Route 9, New Route 9, and Clinton Farm Supply. It says Dick. They call her Betty. Thanks much. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.